One of my favorite guys, played in the NFL for over a decade. I covered him in college, TJ Houshmandzadeh, who is joining us now via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network. So let me ask you, how, if you were a New Orleans Saint, and you like Drew Brees, he'd thrown the ball to you a lot, he'd been a good community guy, then he comes out, says what he says, and then he apologizes. When you woke up this morning, if you were a teammate of Drew Brees, would you accept the apology? Where would you be emotionally in your relationship with Drew Brees this morning if you were a wide receiver for the Saints?
I'd obviously be disappointed. That's no question. You would think about this. When Cap nailed it was 2016, 4 years ago. Drew Brees actually has nailed himself. So you've, in essence, had 4 years to come up with an answer to a question if you were never asked. And that's the answer that you come up with. And that wasn't even the question that was asked. That's just what you wanted to say. And so that was disappointing. I feel like his apology, it was a public relation thing. He didn't understand all the hate that was coming his way. So let me throw an apology out there. We're teammates. We're going to move on. If I'm on the New Orleans Saints, we're going to go past this. I don't know Drew Brees personally. Those guys in the locker room, they know how he is. So they know his DNA. They know what he's about. And so when he made that comment, they know if the apology is real or not because they know exactly what type of dude he is. But for me, I was taken aback. I was shocked because he didn't come off as being that type of guy. But I'm a firm believer in your mouth speaks what comes from your heart.
Yeah. You know, it is interesting. I said earlier, we demand growth from people, but we can't demand perfection. And because to grow, I mean, I think I'm a better broadcaster today because I've made a bunch of mistakes. Does Drew Brees' resume matter that he's been a good person? Does and I'm not saying it has to, but to you, do you think, listen, his history is good dude. Does that help him at all in this?
100% it helps him. And that's why you're willing to look at his apology and say, is it sincere? Because of what he has done and the impact he's had on that community. And again, his teammates know, the Mike Thomases and the Kamars and the Cam Jordan, they know what type of dude he is. And so I know Drew Brees. I do not know him personally. And that's the thing where we can sit here and try to judge, but I don't know him personally. Again, his teammates, it will be interesting that they're going to have to start the season well, because if they don't, then in the back of their minds, some of their better players, they're going to have that thought. And so it sucks, but 100% they can move past this. It's how do they move past this and the steps taken along the way.
Roger Goodell is not perfect, but I always think he has good intentions in mind, even when he makes mistakes. It's hard to be a president. It's hard to be a CEO. It's hard to be a commissioner. It's a leadership position. Leadership is imperfect. I thought he had a good weekend. Did you buy into his shift on the support of players?
I did. And the reason I did is when Roger Goodell became a commissioner, I was actually on a committee. If you would recall this, we were getting in a lot of trouble down in Cincinnati. We were kind of the poster boys for it.
Yeah.
And so he gives me a call. He wants me to participate in this committee that he was forming. And I did. And we had some calls. We met together. I got to know Roger. And he's sincere. He's about the league. He's not about a team. He isn't about a player. He's about the league, the NFL. And so he's doing what he thinks is best for the NFL. And he sees the plight of the African-American person in the world. The league is made up of predominantly African-Americans and black players. And so he can't, nobody can walk in the shoes of a black player. You don't know when you're driving down the street and the sheriff gets behind you. We look in the rearview mirror tons of times. I know I do. And for other people, that's a different experience. And so for Roger to come out and say what he said, it was refreshing. But Roger is always, for the most part, I wouldn't say always, but for the most part, he's always done the right thing when it comes to issues like this, whether they're popular or not.
Well, I don't remember. When you played, TJ, were you vocal about social issues or not? You're the kind of guy that could handle it. Like Malcolm Jenkins clearly cares. He can handle it. He's good in the room with multiple people, an owner, a GM, a coach, a player. Were you vocal?
I wasn't vocal about these issues. These issues weren't a topic of conversation at all. Now, when you say was I vocal, I mean, I was vocal about a lot of things, practice conditions, a lot of things that occurred, that you go through during, on the team. I was very vocal about it, but these social injustices, they weren't an issue when I was playing. I actually wish they were, because I don't know what I would have done, but me being the type of person that I am, I would like to think I would have been on the front line of this.
Do you think players will kneel now? I mean, do you think that'll become a thing now, or what's your takeaway on that?
I mean, if you listen to Adrian Peterson, yes, I'm not 100% certain. I don't know what kneeling is going to do. The word is out. The word is out now about what's going on. Everybody's on board, and I'm a realist, Colin. You need cooperation in order for there to be progress. Is that cooperation going to come at the local and the state local levels to start implementing change? It's going to take some time. It's not going to be an easy road. Nobody in power wants to give power up, and that's just the reality of it. And so it will be interesting to see how this plays out, but it's long overdue. We've been discriminated against in so many different ways. I mean, people condemned Kaepernick, and he was well ahead of the curve, and he wasn't the face guy that everybody wanted him to be. Oh, why isn't he coming out saying this? That's not what he wants to do. That's not how he's going to lead this. And we wanted him, or people wanted him to lead it how they wanted him to lead it, and that's not what he wanted to do.
Do you think we're going to see change? I watched this weekend. I'm a 55-year-old white male. I was really captivated by the protests. I thought it was remarkable. I thought the last 3 or 4 days, I thought spoke well of America. But that's my view on what I watched. Do you believe there's real change coming?
It's hard. It's hard to say. Again, you brought up Malcolm Jenkins. You got guys like him that's in the league, and he's at the forefront of this. He's leading the charge. And you got former players like Anquan Bolden. If you can get, the key is you have to get the popular white players to be with you, because when they're with you, then they want to understand the problems. And again, there's so many different things that it doesn't matter how much money you have when you're being profiled. It's happened to me numerous times while I was playing, and especially now that I'm not playing. And so I believe there will be change. It's going to be gradual, and it's going to be slow, maybe not as quick as some would like. But as long as people keep this energy and it's peaceful, change will come. It's just going to take some time.
Well, TJ, I love having you on. And TJ, by the way, has been for the last year, he's rebuilding a house, and his marriage is still strong today, which speaks volumes of the quality person rebuilding a house for a year, and still he and his wife love each other. That is amazing, my friend.
Yeah, we get along pretty well, man. I can't complain. Just a long process, I will say that.
Good seeing you, TJ. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.